Hello, everyone. A huge welcome to today's webinar. My name is Lucy Rothwell. I'm a group product manager here at FreeAgent, and I work on the part of the business that looks after a lot of the functionality that helps businesses get paid, which is what this webinar is all about. Now, you may be wondering why I have pictures of spanners and pipes in my background, and that's because for the purpose of today's webinar, I'm going to be a plumber. So tomorrow I may be a creative agency, the day after I may be a software engineer, but today, if you have a broken pipe or a blocked sink, I'm your woman. Plumbers on the call, please forgive me if I make any outrageous technical errors when pretending to know about plumbing. But saying that, what I'm about to show you is how anyone, regardless of industry, can get paid really easily using FreeAgent. And that's what we're going to spend the next 20 minutes or so talking about. Now, it may look like it's just me here on the call, but actually, we also have the fabulous Katie with us as well. Katie's from our customer support team, and she works day to day in helping you guys use FreeAgent. So Katie's going to be answering your questions in the Q&A as we go along and sharing answers with the group. So please do ask if you have any questions at all, because if there's something you're unsure about, you're probably not the only one. Now, we will answer as many questions as we possibly can today, but if we run out of time, then our support team will get back to you afterwards. And I'm also going to show you at the end of this presentation how to get support when you need it. Now, before we go into the nuts and bolts of getting paid, I'm just going to give you a really quick intro. So I know a lot of people on this call are current FreeAgent users. Fantastic to see you guys again. We're really, really pleased to have you here. However, if you're also new to FreeAgent, then a huge welcome. FreeAgent is a cloud-based accounting software, and it's basically designed to help you nail the daily admin in your business and take care of tax. So that includes everything from sending invoices to filing tax returns directly to HMRC. And FreeAgent is designed to make all of that easy and, dare I say it, even satisfying. We honestly do have customers that say they enjoy doing their tax because of FreeAgent. True story. Now, I can't guarantee you'll enjoy doing your taxes, but I can say that using FreeAgent will make it a lot easier. So just to show you what we'll be going through today, we're going to look at invoicing. So we're going to look at how to send invoices to your clients. We're also going to look at how to set up some automated emails, such as payment reminders and thank you emails, so that you don't have to manually send emails to all your clients in order to get paid. We're also going to look at some payment providers. So this is about, instead of your customers having to manually type in your sort code and account number and manually set up a bank transaction, we're going to show you ways where your customers can just click through on the invoice and pay you directly. We're also then going to look at some reports that will help you understand your sales coming in, who's paying you, when they're paying you, and don't worry too much if you don't understand some of these terms or if they're new to you. They're a lot easier than they seem, and I'm going to walk you through those. We'll also then do a quick piece at the end, just looking at how to generally nail some of the daily admin related to bank feeds, which also feeds into some of your reports. So without further ado, let me jump into the FreeAgent product. So many of you will be familiar with this page. This is the homepage of FreeAgent, homepage of your account. And what I'm going to do is jump straight into invoicing. So I'm going to go up to work in the top menu here. I'm going to go down to invoicing, and I'm going to land on my invoicing page here. Now, as you can see, my plumbing business has been very, very busy. So this is a list of all the invoices that I've sent already to customers. So you can see here, we've got the date of the invoice, the date the payment's due here. We've got the reference, the contact and the project. So this is the name of my customer or the name of the project that I'm working on. We've got the total value here of the invoice. And then we've got, very importantly, the status. And this status shows us who's paid, who's not, and what invoices are open. So we can see here that most of my invoices have been paid, which is excellent. I've got a couple here that are open, and then I've got one here down at the bottom that's overdue. Now, I'm going to jump straight into creating a new invoice for a client. So I was actually called out at the weekend on an emergency plumbing job to Luxury Laundry, and that's what I want to send an invoice for today. And what I'm about to show you is how It's the process for sending an invoice, whether it's your first invoice or whether it's your 100th. So I'm going to go up to the top corner here where it says add new invoice. I'm going to click on that, and here we are in the invoice. Now, all I need to do is fill out the fields in this form, and then FreeAgent is going to automatically create an invoice for me, which you'll see very, very soon. So, as I said, my client is Luxury Laundry. Luxury Laundry have been with me for years. Their plumbing is an absolute nightmare. They had it built about 30 years ago. It's rusting, it's falling apart. So every other month, they're calling me out on a job to fix a broken pipe or a blocked sink. And that's what last weekend's job was about. So they have been with me for a long time. However, if I was adding a new customer, if I'd never sent an invoice to a customer before, all I would need to do is go to add new contact here, fill in the details, and then that would show in the list here. However, this is an existing client. The next field here we have on the invoice form is project. Now, this is a one-off emergency plumbing job, so it's not part of a project. However, in a couple of months' time, I am going to be doing, thankfully, a plumbing overhaul job for Luxury Laundry, which is a big project. And if this was an invoice for that, I would actually link it to project plumbing overhaul here. But for now, I'm going to leave it blank. So the other fields here we have on the invoice is your invoice reference. That's automatically filled by FreeAgent, so you don't need to worry about that. The invoicing date is today's date. So we have, I'm going to stick with that. We also have payment terms. So payment terms of 30 days is what I've decided for my business. That's what I want my payment to be. It's going to be pounds sterling. You can also add a little bit of additional text if you want at the bottom of the invoice. I'm not going to do that. Now, what I want to show you next is the really interesting parts that I think you're going to love, because these three features here are going to save you a lot of time when getting paid. They're going to make the whole process a lot easier. So the first one we have here is to email this invoice automatically using my default template. So if we just pull it down. So, so basically, I've already set up a template for my clients. So what that means is instead of me having to manually type out an email every time when I'm sending an invoice, this will be automatically populated by FreeAgent. Now, I've already set this template, but if you've not done this before, all you need to do is go to settings up in the top right-hand corner here. Scroll down to this section, email invoices and estimates. And then in this section, we have email templates and the themes gallery. Now, email templates is all about the text that's included in the email that you send. So you can fill this in here, and that will then show in the invoice, it'll automatically fill in the invoice that I showed you. And then the other really good thing here is your theme gallery. So this is all about making the invoice look pretty and professional. So you can select a template here, which means that any invoice you generate will look like this. So I'm going to go with this theme here. So bear in mind this red bar, because you're going to see this again soon. So back to my original invoice, I'm going to tick this because I want the email to be used, to be sent using my default template. So the next one we have here is email payment reminders if the invoice goes unpaid. Now, the last thing you want to be doing is having to keep a track of who's paid, who hasn't, who's overdue, manually going into your emails and sending emails every time. And what these payment reminders do is do all that automatically for you. So all you need to do is send the invoice in the first place, and the automatic payment reminders will come automatically after. All you need to do is edit the rules. So if you look at the rules here, for my invoice, I've requested that a reminder sent 1 day before the invoice is due, just to say, hi customer, just a reminder that your payment's due tomorrow, friendly reminder. And the next one here is that if after 4 days of the due date, the invoice hasn't been paid, we'll send another reminder email to them, and we'll do that every 2 days. So that's all set up nicely, and it's been ticked here. The last item we have is another automated email. And this means that as soon as someone pays you, you send a nice thank you email to confirm to the customer that their payment's been received and to say, thanks so much for doing business with us. Great to have you on board. So that's ticked as well. And that's the kind of main things in relation to automated emails. The next main section I'm going to show you, again, which I think you're going to love, is about online payment options. So the whole purpose of this is to make it really easy for customers to pay you. The easier it is for them to pay you, the more likely they are to do it on time. So typically with an invoice, what I used to do was include the bank details on my invoice, and the user would make a manual payment, a manual bank transfer. But FreeAgent now integrates with a number of different payment providers. And the one that I've integrated with here is Stripe. So by ticking this box here, this means that when I send out the email with the invoice, there will be a button saying view and pay. So what it means is that it'll look a little bit like this, and the user can literally just click this view and pay button and click, 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 and make the payment. They don't have to do any manual bank transfers. So it makes it nice and easy. Now on my account here, you can see I've already set this provider, so that's already been done. And if you've not done this before, what you'll see is something that looks a little bit like this. And it gives you the option to set up either Stripe, PayPal, or go cardless. And all you need to do is click through here, click through on this page with whatever provider you'd like to use. So we'll click on go cardless as an example, connect with go cardless. And then if you have an account with go cardless, all you need to do is sign in and it will connect. If you don't have an account, you can go to sign up here and create an account. And that will then show nicely on your invoices, on your invoice emails. So I've ticked that, which is all good. There's a couple more options at the bottom here. I'm not going to go into too much detail with this. However, what I am going to do is just give a little 15% discount to Luxury Laundry because they have been with me for so long and I really appreciate their business. I'm then going to go right down to the bottom here and click create new invoice. And as we can see, this has been really nicely created based on the template that we looked earlier, based on the theme that we selected earlier. It also includes my logo, which I'd uploaded. You can do that in settings. And all I need to do now is add an invoice item. So this was ended up being a 2-hour job, emergency plumbing, emergency call out. Because it was a weekend, I do have my out of hours price on, so it's a little bit more expensive, and 20% VAT is what I'm going to apply. I'm going to click create and finish. And then we can see here that in the invoice, we've got the job, we've got the VAT, we've got the 15% discount. And all I need to do now is scroll up to the top and click send. And that's it done. The invoice has been sent to my client. The reminder, we can see at the top here that the reminder emails have been sent up. So I set up, so I don't need to worry about sending reminders. The thank you email has been set up, so I don't need to worry about that. I can just sit back and wait to get paid. And as we can see, if we then go back into the main invoices page, this will now show here. And that's it. It's really as simple as that. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. And yeah, that's our kind of invoicing feature. Now, the next thing I said I would show you is some reports that will help you understand the money you've got coming in, who your customers are, payments that are overdue. I think you'll find this really, really useful. So I'm just going to go straight up to accounting at the top here, scroll down to reports and click that. Now, this section has a whole number of reports that are very useful for your business, from profit and loss to performance benchmarking. But today, I'm just going to focus on this section here called breakdown. And the first report I'm going to look at is customer sales. Now, this is it's actually a very, very simple table. All it is a list of your customers and how much they've paid you. So we can see here our old favorites, Luxury Laundry. We can see year by year how much they've paid. So they spent £13,000 with me in 21. I told you they had bad plumbing. We had £20,000 in 2022, and in so far they've paid me 460. So why is this useful? It's useful because it lets you see who are your highest paying customers. So this button here will sort it and shows us who the top 5 are. And this might mean that we give these customers a little bit of extra TLC, a little bit of extra attention. So we can see here, for example, that I've got 5 customers that have spent over £30,000 with me. So maybe I want to send them a little Terry's chocolate orange at Christmas, just to say thank you for being our customer and thank you for doing business with us. So that's the customer sales report. The next one we're going to we're going to go back into reports and we're going to look at aged debtors. Again, it's a lot simpler than it sounds. All it is a list of the people that owe you money, the customers that owe you money. So you can see here, we've got the name of the customers in the first column. And then what we've got here, the things to focus on here are these columns. So this shows me that the first column, 0 to 30 days, is all the customers that were sent an invoice between 0 and 30 days ago. Now, because I've got payment terms of 30 days, I don't care about this column. Anyone in this column is probably not overdue. However, anyone that's in the 30 to over 90 days columns, I do want to keep an eye on, because that means they're probably overdue in their payments. And we can see here that Fez Consulting, they still owe me £4,200, and that's over 90 days old. Now, this is useful because it can tell me, right, this customer's not paid. Why have they not paid? And is it because I forgot to set up the reminder emails? Is it because the customer's ignoring the reminder emails, or is it something else? But one way or another, I probably need to give Fez Consulting a bit of a phone and find out what's going on there. So that's what this page is useful for. It just highlights to you where extra action might need taken in return to the money you're owed. And obviously, the more we can keep our debt down and the amount of people that owe us money, the healthier our business finances. So the last report I'm going to show you is in banking, and it's called the cash flow. Now, the cash flow report is a really great tool. Loads of our customers use it. It's very, very valuable. All it does is it tells you the amount of money you've got coming in, the amount of money you've got going out, and what your balance is likely to be over the next 90 days. So what it's basically doing is saying, are we going to have enough money in the bank to pay our bills? So let's look into it in a bit more detail. So I'm going to click here. So we can see that as of today, the cash in the bank is £96,000, which is shown up here as well. So that's excellent. We're cash positive today, which is really good news. However, tomorrow, it looks like we've got another £69,000 coming in. So this was a huge plumbing job I did a while back for an office block. They needed a lot of their plumbing reworked, and they're due to pay me tomorrow, which is really good. So that means our cash goes right up. We've also got an outgoing payment of £520. That's some supplier bills that I need to pay. But we can see here that over the next 90 days, I'm going to remain cash positive. And in 90 days, my balance is going to be £165,000. So what this means is good times. I've got enough cash to pay everything I need to pay. It's really good. However, if it was a different situation, and if for some reason my scheduled outgoings, my scheduled bills were actually higher than the money I have coming in, this would be red, and it would highlight that there's a red here. So that means that it could say, in 60 days, for example, we're not going to have enough money to pay bills that we have due. And obviously that's a situation we don't want to get in. We don't want to be damaging our relationships with our suppliers. And this cash flow report will alert you to that. Without you even having to look, it will alert you. And what that means is you can do certain things to fill that cash gap. So maybe it means that you put in an extra job to get some extra cash in. Maybe it means you chase up debtors like Fez Consulting. We phone them and try and get our £4,200 in. Or maybe it even means we look at a bank loan just to fill that gap temporarily whilst we get through it. But either way, this will help you do that. Now, the last little thing I'm going to show you, which is really useful for helping the daily admin, is how the bank feeds and bank explanations work. And this is important because we want to make sure that we keep all these reports up to date. And to keep these up to date, we need to let the free agent know what invoices we have coming in, what bills we have going out, and what the different transactions are that are coming in and out of our bank. So I'm just going to go to the banking section up at the top here and go to bank accounts. Now, hopefully, most of you have set up your bank feed already. So your bank feed is where FreeAgent connects automatically to your bank account, whether it be with NatWest or another bank, and it pulls in all your transactions, and it shows on the screen something like this. So yeah, it basically pulls in all your bank transactions and lists them all out for you, so you can see where what money is coming in or going out. Now it's really important as a small business that you categorize all the transactions that come in and go out, and the reason that's important is because it will help us know what calculations to include in things like your cash flow and your other reports. It will help keep all that accurate. And really importantly, it'll also help us auto-populate your tax returns, so that if you explain all the transactions in your bank account, when it comes to doing your tax return, a lot of it will be auto-populated and you won't need to do any extra, to do too much extra work on it. Now, one of the great features we have in FreeAgent is that we have a smart algorithm that basically tries to guess what your banking transactions are, so that you don't have to do it each time. So in this section here that says for approval, what they've done is they've used algorithms and data science to categorize this and guess what they think these are. So all you need to do is basically go in, check that all looks correct, and then click approve and save changes. And then that's been nicely approved and it's been accounted for properly in your accounts. So what you want to do is you want to go through all of these in approval and make that number 0. You then also want to go into unexplained. And these are transactions where we've not quite had enough data to make a guess. So all you need to do is go in, select a category that it belongs to, and then explain the transaction. And again, that will filter through. If it's linked to a specific invoice, you can click it there, and then that means that will come out of your reports and reflect properly there. So at any one time, you always want to make sure that all of your transactions are explained and that those numbers at the top are 0. If you don't have a bank feed set up yet, all you need to do is go to add a new account at the top here, go to bank account, fill in these details, and then it will show on this section here in your accounts. You then just click into the account and then click enable bank feed at the top, and that will enable a connection between your bank and FreeAgent, so all your data will be pulled in automatically. And that's it really. That's all from us for today. If you do need any more help at any point, remember that at the bottom of every page in FreeAgent, we have this knowledge base section, which will take you to a help page. We have hundreds of articles really nicely written, which will hopefully help you use any features that you need to use. We also have this help button. Let's just go back. So we have this help button at the bottom here as well. And this is our friend Ruby the robot. So Ruby the robot will help you find, she's an automatic assistant that will help you find articles that you need for your problem. And if she can't help you, you can then be connected straight through to one of our fabulous support team here, and they will help you with whatever problem you have.